Welcome to the Metals Investment Forum. It's my great pleasure to have Vizsla Copper, Parry with me. Welcome, Greg.
Thanks, Chen. Great to be back.
All right, good. Has been finally we got a very exciting market, and look at the copper this year. Look at silver this year. I think we're just getting started. I'm quite excited. Actually, last week, Goldman came out with reports that United States will run out of copper by the end of this year. They said so. They said in there. And then you go to my presentation, Elon Musk said United States will run out of power next year, 2025.
Yeah, so that was astonishing. I really enjoyed your presentation. The fact that by next year the US is going to run out of power. You're going to have rolling blackouts across the country. So all very, very good news for metal prices. I'm sort of on record as saying I think we'll see $20-30 per pound copper. I was in Zurich recently, and a trader there told me that we'll absolutely see $100 per ounce silver, if not $300. So I think big things are about to play out over the next few years, and you want to be in this market right now.
Oh, absolutely. You're right, hit it right on the head. So that's for your vision to collect, to grab all these assets well in the downturn. I've seen coming out of downturn, I've been through quite a few cycles. Coming out of downturn, they're always one of those pioneers who get all the key assets and then they become darlings of the market. I guess that's your vision for Vizsla Copper.
For Vizsla Copper, yep, and Vizsla Silver. In Vizsla Silver, of course, we've got, I think, what is the best silver discovery in the past 20 or 30 years. We've got 325 million ounces down there in Mexico. And we will at some point be building one of the world's great silver mines.
Yeah, so and one of the shareholders on both.
Good. That's good to hear. And then we'll do the right thing by you there. And then Vizsla Copper, it's our sort of earliest stage serious company that we've got really. And I think my track record of taking we started next gen ISO Energy, Skeena with Walt Coles there, all companies that we've taken from sort of micro caps really through to $1 billion plus companies. Vizsla Silver's now $550 million company. Vizsla Copper, this is the opportunity for investors to get in on the ground floor. We've got an $18 million market capitalisation now. If I do what we think we can do, and metal prices support, which I think they will, we'll be building a serious business in the copper space over the next 5 years.
Wow, excellent. So you seek to have a potential for like a big return, yeah?
Oh, I think so. I think, firstly, we've got a massive resource base of copper and gold here in British Columbia, just up the road, really. Great jurisdiction, good project, good grades, good scale, lots of exploration upside. So we tick all of those boxes. We've got a team that we can raise capital, run companies well. We've got, an excellent technical team behind us to advance those projects. So we're in great shape. My stretch target, it's an itch I haven't scratched yet. I've built several companies, gold companies, uranium businesses, and now a silver business.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I haven't done, and the one thing that I've always wanted to do, is build a serious copper business. And so that's the objective. I see that, the projects we have give us the opportunity to do that. There are higher grade zones within each of these projects that we're looking at conducting studies on. And, we're hopeful that a mine project, even at today's metal prices, will fall out of that will be, strongly economic and give us the kernel to build a major copper business around. Never easy, there's a lack of good copper projects in the world. It's one of the reasons I think that the copper price is going to go up dramatically, is finding a quality copper project in a safe, good jurisdiction where you're not going to have it stolen off you is hard to find. And British Columbia is a great place to do it,
Oh, excellent. And I think you're right. I mean, look what happened in Panama recently.
Yep.
So there's a lot of companies and the majors are really interested in the safe jurisdiction. And you have a class. I think you consolidate the whole area. Right? It looks like a lot of things. You have a multiple project, and then you can expand the resource dramatically as well.
Exactly. I think, we've done two major corporate acquisitions. We announced, Woodjam. We acquired consolidated Woodjam in an all-stock deal 18 months ago, 2 years ago. We announced the acquisition of Universal Copper 2 weeks ago, the closing of that acquisition. That company cost us the princely sum of $2.5 million in stock, and for that we got 2 billion pounds of copper and 750,000 ounces in resources already in the ground. So that was a great start. We'll keep looking to do that, but these projects have exciting, extraordinary exploration upside. And where we've seen that it makes sense, we've made some very cheap acquisitions. I think we've done 10 acquisitions so far on properties around these projects. One of the exciting ones is the Redgold project. That sits only 10 kilometres south of the Mount Polly pit. Of course, Mount Polly is Imperial Mining's major producer. There's mineralisation everywhere on the ground there. There's lots of sniffs and lots of smoke. So we want to do some high impact exploration come this summer. So we'll get into that and do that. So we're in really good shape, I suppose. You've got all of the things that you need to perform very well over the next few years. Rising copper market with extraordinary upside on the copper price. We've got lots of gold as well, and the gold price is performing well. Big resource base that supports more than supports the current valuation. Some excellent exploration targets, some higher grade mineralisation, and the wherewithal to really get in a drill test and advance these projects.
Wow, excellent. So for new investor, new to your story, what do they expect in the next 6 to 12 months?
So, we're now integrating that acquisition of Universal Copper, and we've really seen what we've got there, and we're very excited about what we have. We'll look to conduct a summer drill campaign in July, particularly around those higher grade zones and some of those higher impact targets that we've got up next to the Mount Polly mine. As I mentioned there up front, I suspect that within the Poplar project's a very interesting one. It's got a large resource base there. Its grade on average is 0.4% copper. But what hasn't been looked at is pulling out, and sits at outcrops, the mineralisation, the porphyry outcrops. So it's shallow. But no one's ever looked at the higher grade zones in that. And I suspect that there'll be a project in that looks very attractive as in terms of mining scenarios. So we're looking at all of that. We'll look to do studies on one or more of these projects. We're also out there trying to acquire other projects. I think that, there's a disconnect between the metal markets with copper's, nudging up against all-time highs now. But equities still haven't really taken off. The majors to some extent, the mid-tiers to some extent, but it hasn't trickled down to the junior market yet. So we've got a window there, and I think it'll close very quickly, but it might be 6 months. Whereby we can still make other acquisitions very, very cheaply at prices.
Penny on the dollar.
That's a penny on the dollar. Exactly. Well, you say that. That's an interesting point. I think our projects, we've acquired them for $14 million worth of stock to date. These projects have had upwards of $60 million spent on them so far. So Universal, for example, we have $2.5 million worth of stock for 2 billion pounds of copper and 750,000 ounces.
Great deal. Great deal. And so that's very good. That's very good. I mean, in this market was so down for the juniors. Actually, you just look at it at a completely different lens, and then you collect all the key ingredients for the bull market. This just looks like a perfect timing to me. Especially, I'm very bullish on copper, as we saw in my presentation.
Yep.
When we start having rolling blackout, even as I said, the news of Texas, the electricity rate jumped by 100-fold, not 100%, 100-fold last week. It's not summer yet because they having most problem is in the summer. Right now it's still in the spring. They already have a jump. So we have a serious problem in the United States.
That's interesting. And before we even get going on this serious AI data center build out, you're seeing those challenges emerge. I heard a good one the other day that to do a chat GPT or any AI platform, a search on that platform, it uses 10 times the electricity that a simple Google search uses. So you can see where that demand's going to come from as people start using AI more and more.
Yeah, exactly. As I put in my presentation, even Microsoft, the leader of AI, start recognize with auto power. So they start getting to the power generation business. They start to generate power. That was last week.
Yeah.
So I think every other company will follow the lead. So we'll need a lot of silver, a lot of copper, and all the metals.
Yeah, fabulous. And we've got a lot of both of those in the two Vizslas, Vizsla Silver and Vizsla Copper.
Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome, and hope to hear good news from you next time.
Yeah, good on you. Thanks, Chen.
Thank you, Parry.